Good morning, all. Lovely to see you all. Today, I was kind of wavering really about what to teach. There's two themes I was thinking about: receptivity and forgiveness. And then I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about it and thinking, well, they kind of go together. Um, we all carry our fair share, I suppose, some more than others. And I speak for myself here, really. But you get those moments of awareness when you realize you're carrying shame, anger, jealousies within oneself. And they might not be very strong emotions, and life carries on, and it's pretty content and all the rest of it, in a good flow. But then there's moments, aren't there, when you can kind of feel the mind gets caught up um, with more challenging emotions that we may all harbour in relation to other people, to other. Um, it's quite normal. I think that's the first thing. I mean, these are states of mind, and like it or not on this planet, or within one's own kind of mind body awareness, you can't escape from feeling certain emotions, even if they're quite unpleasant and you don't necessarily choose to feel them. Who would choose to feel those? Not many of us, but they come unharbored. They really are the sum of how maybe we've been programmed, wired to respond to things. Kind of we've grown up in a competitive world, an increasingly competitive world. And I suppose some of that does sometimes seep into the psyche. We do live in relationship to other people. And so there comes comparison. And on the back of comparison, that sense of difference of ourselves with other people, sometimes it's a good state we kind of end up in. Other times we can it can feed our inadequacies. So today, working with the theme of forgiveness, forgiving ourselves really, for those shortcomings, will then open us up almost without any effort into a state of greater receptivity, more receptive to other people's energies, to what that might offer in our lives, to the gifts we already have within our lives. That's where we're going. Bit of heart opening to start with. If you've got a block or a cushion, nice start to your Monday morning. We're going to come down into lying down. Excuse me while I just shuffle back to my mat. And I kind of got then, I realise you can't really see it anyway, so let me just adjust the computer screen. There we are, there it is. I'm going to start on the mat, lying down, using some sort of prop, whether it's a block, a cushion, if you prefer, just popping it on the mat. You can make a little line of them if you prefer here. Finding a comfortable place to place that. So just underneath the kind of heart space, chest area. The head can hang back over your block. If your head's not touching the floor though, I would personally suggest putting a cushion or something like that behind that little prop in the middle of the back, just so your neck's got something to lie on. You don't want to put undue strain on the neck here. You'll feel a nice little stretch open across the chest. Legs can go wherever you want. One nice option, if you want to take this into the hips as well, being kind of storage houses for all those unwelcome things we maybe haven't processed. Hips could come into, feet could come together, hips moving out to the sides, and you're in butterfly. Hands I would recommend coming out to the sides of the body, so you keep this openness across the top of the chest, and your palms will be up here. And we'll just start a few breaths arriving here, arriving in your body. But maybe the intention for this morning is to be open to feeling whatever rises up within oneself. now as you lie here, let your body do its own opening and tell its own story. Don't feel you've got to create that story one way or another. Listening inwards. You'll feel all sorts of little sensations rising up. As the body settles. And starting to bring attention into the heart space. Just feel the stretch across the chest. Feeling the fragility of the front of the body. And how that feels when it is open. And a soft, gentle flow of breath into the heart area. Take 5 more rounds of breath here. And then from those 5 rounds of breath, guide your knees back to the center line of their apart. Just roll off your block. You can put it out to the side, just out the way for the moment. And coming back onto the spine, both knees together, arms out to the sides of the body. And we're just going to take the knees, rock them from one side, both knees and feet together, taking the gaze down the opposite arm. And then just rock them back over to the other side. So you're kind of coming in and out of a moving twist. Make sure you're not holding your breath at any point here. Just let the breath flow quite freely. And keeping contact between both knees all the way along the length of the legs, from the feet up through the shins and calves, knees to thighs. So you feel a sense of your pelvis. The legs are part of that, one entity. So both legs, each leg is supporting the other in moving. Legs working together. Do one more round on both sides. Keep that warmth of contact. And you're arriving back to your center line. And then, no looking down at the feet, but planting them, hips width apart from one another.
Now just check that alignment there, just stretching out into your toes. You draw your knees slightly forward. You kind of feel where the feet are in relation to the body. You can just make any little adjustments that you need to. You can also look on your little screen if you can see yourself there. And we'll take the arms to the sides of the body. So nice deep in-breath, and the arms will float up as your pelvis lifts up. And your chin will rise away from your throat, and you're up into a bridge. Stretch out into your fingertips as you draw your knees forward, opening up the entire front of the body here. An out breath, a lowering down of hands and pelvis back to the mat. Take your time to move into another in-breath and rise again, pelvis and arms together. Your arms working even though they're apart from one another as one entity, as your legs work. Your legs working as one entity as everything comes down together. We'll do one more round. Holding for a round or so, say 3 rounds of breath, up in your bridge. And we all come down together on the out breath. Hands, pelvis arriving together and hugging your knees now into the chest. Bit of weight on the knees, so bring your shins right up to bring your arms right up to the shins, and you can rock a little bit from side to side. And just hug those knees into the chest. You feel that lovely opening through the belly. Now stretch out through your neck here. See if you can drop your shoulders back towards the mat, even though you're hugging knees in. So you feel contact of the spine to the mat beneath you. Now stretch out your right leg out towards the floor, and we'll just hover that right leg just a little distance off the floor, still hugging in your left knee here. Right leg elongated out away from the left. If you can, just hovering it off the floor a little bit, stretch out into the heel. Draw the right knee in. Do the opposite, on the opposite side, so hugging in the right knee. As left leg stretch out into the heel. And it's hovering just a fraction off the floor. That feels comfortable, no strain. Keep hugging in that right knee, stretching out into the left. And we'll take left knee in again. A little bit of rocking from one side to the other. Again, still feel that contact between the thighs, the knees, feet. And then we plant the right foot down to the floor, your knees bent up to the ceiling. Left foot now is crossing over the right thigh. You're making a kind of right angle shape here with the left leg. Now do keep your toes flexed here, it helps to protect the knee. Once you've found that shape there, then we're reaching through, left hand to the left of the right thigh, right hand around it, reaching through and catching hold of the right thigh. So you can interlace your fingers behind the back of the right thigh. And you can draw that right knee up and into your core. Now protecting the knee joint by keeping the flex on the left foot. Just checking you're feeling sensation down in the hips rather than up in the knee. A few breaths here. Make sure you're not holding your breath at all at any point. Just make sure you're breathing fully, spaciously. Right foot down, left foot coming down as well, joining the right. And then we'll take the right foot, crossing over the left. Foot of the right foot's flexed, creating that right angle shape through the right leg. Hands coming around the back or towards the left thigh. And you may be able to lift up that left thigh, draw it into the core a little bit. So you're opening out into that right ear. Check the breath is flowing freely. One more round of breath here. Both feet planting down to the mat, stretching out both legs now in turn. Feet are flexed up to the ceiling, so they're strong legs, active legs. Arms coming up and over the head. Big line of the body. And then pointing the toes away from you, we'll take both feet together over to the bottom right corner of the mat. Both arms over to the top right corner. So you're creating an arch shape, a bit like a banana here. And just relaxing into that shape. Making sure the weight on both legs is equally releasing to the floor. Feeling the stretch along the outer seams of the body. And we come to the other side. So arms to the top left corner, legs moving over to the bottom left corner. Letting the body expand, finding space within the body. So then anything that, how to say, is congesting the body or congesting the heart, clouding the heart, some more space to pass through. Kind of notice at times, so bring both arms up to up above you again. We bend both knees in. We just rock on the spine for a few breaths. Kind of forwards, backwards, side to side, whatever feels right to you. We'll start putting a little bit of movement into this. It's kind of going to say though that it's easy to kind of see how we can kind of hold on to the things within the body. It's very easy to tense up, as it were, within ourselves. Things get a bit buried inside us. So the more space, architectural space you can create, more space through your breath, keeping that freedom of flow of our energy with our breath. More space we've got for things to pass through us. We'll do one more rock and we come up and into sitting. If you want, just use a little bit of core work here. You can keep the feet hovering up off the floor, just hugging into the backs of the legs. Else you can plant the feet down. Breath also more. Last breath, you may just want to lift up the knees, the legs up to parallel with the floor, just to activate the core a little bit. 3 deep breaths down into your core. And we're arriving down and into sitting. So comfortable cross-legged position. Do use any props you want to for any part of the body. If knees are feeling a little bit like they need that extra support this morning, do give it to them. Just let yourself be present to yourself and adapt as you need to kind of find that kindness, that flow of well-being within you. Okay, Kapalabhati breath now, shining skull breath, lovely breath just to cleanse the skull, lift energy. We start taking a deep in-breath in. Then you're pushing that breath out quite forcefully through the nose. You're going to keep on going for around 10 rounds of breath. Your awareness is in the skull rather than down in the belly. Get ready to breathe out. And just pausing there, no breath inside the body. Awareness up in the third eye kind of area. Empty space within you. No strain, just notice if there's any part of you wanting to hold the breath out, the breath longer, breathing in when you're ready. It's welcoming the sweetness of the new breath, freshness of the new breath. And on to another round. Remember, just kind of go as long as you want to. The new breath will take care of itself. As you push out the old breath, new breath's going to come in as a reflex. Deep breath in. Maybe happy to go for a few rounds more. Breathe out when you're ready to stop. And a few moments of stillness. No breath, no movement. It's like you're expanding out the walls of the container of the body. And alongside the mind flowing. Breathing in when you're ready. A few natural breaths. Giving this all your attention, your focus now, the last round. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Breath held out. The body rests in that space. And a new breath will follow when you're ready. Set your eyes shut, but they're not. A few moments to feel presence. To feel present. And just a moment to bring awareness to the heart, as well as the front of the body feeling open as the breath flows into the heart, also the back of the body and the sides of your body, above and below. So at heart level, you do feel a sense of your energy is boundless. The breath flows in all directions and your energy will follow in all directions. Unbound, unfettered. Flowing through and out from behind any clouds that may cover our awareness at times. And eyes opening again when you're ready. And we're all going to find our way into a forward fold up at the top of the mat. Feet hips width apart. And a few breaths just letting the spine hang. Maybe you would just feel quite naturally to do a few breaths out through the mouth here. Feel your feet rooting down for the body. Weight equally into both feet. And from your anchor points, your roots, start to roll up your spine until you're up into standing. Follow the lift up through the body. Palms turned forwards by the sides of the body. Open up your breath, not just to the front of the body, into the back of the body as well. Not just the top half of the body, but the bottom half as well. How often do we breathe into the backs of the knees, for example, the backs of the shins, backs of the heels? Lighting up all of the body with your energy. And eyes opening, we're going to flow through a few sun salutations now. Take your time, move at your own pace, whatever version you feel comfortable with. An in-breath, arms will lift up. An out-breath, you'll find your way with gravity down into forward fold, root down into both legs. Now either down dog here or plank. In-breath off of the spine, lift up through it. Then back into down dog, or back into plank. And from down dog, knees down, and into down to the floor, or lowering down with your plank to the mat. In-breath, a nice cobra, hips on the floor. Lift up, look up, breathe in. And out breath, knees lifting, easing up and back into down dog. Now just keep that flow moving. Just put a bit of sway through your hips from side to side. Nice slow sway. Almost like your breath is rocking the body from side to side. And then we'll all get ready to move forward up towards the top of the mat. An in-breath will see us looking forward, and the out-breath, feet are walking, journeying up to the top of the mat. In-breath, offer your spine, look forward, heart lifts. Out-breath, heart falls. Coming to rise, both feet working together, legs together to lift you up. Arms will float up. And out breath, guiding palms back and into heart. Another deep in breath. Follow the flow up through the body. Follow the flow out from the body and down into forward fold. Offering the heart forward. Follow the lift of the spine all the way up into the chest, front and back of the body. Out breath, either plank or down dog. And then lowering down into your plank or else onto the knees in down dog, back to heels. And just lowering the body down to the floor. So we're all meeting cobra, in breath, look up, breathe in. Toes tucking under, and you're easing your way up and back into down dog. Lifting up your heels now as you breathe in, rooting your heels back down as you breathe out. Another in breath, lifting up, and out breath, easing them back down. Next in breath, we'll look forward, looking forward, out breath, traveling to the front of the mat, top of the mat. Off your spine, legs together, heart lifting, folding. Coming to rise, lift up. And out breath, hands to heart, elbows to the sides of the body. Opening the front of the body, then bringing awareness to the back of the body, so you feel support from behind. And then flowing with your next in-breath. Into the start of another round, we find our way down through plank, down dog, into cobra. And we all meet in down dog. Now, rising in down dog, we're going to come into warrior one now, starting with the right leg, bending the right knee up behind you, lengthening it out, drawing the right foot through between hands, and flipping your back foot down. Now, lifting through your core, so you've got to anchor your back foot there to feel stable, start to lift up. Just check the right knee is pointing in the direction of your second toe. You don't want it to buckle inwards. In-breath, arms will flow up. Palms can connect, or palms can be hips width, shoulders width apart from one another. Gazing up if that feels comfortable. Now make sure you're not holding breath at all. You've got a lovely free flow of breath through the body. Let your breath hold you. Last round of breath in. And out breath, arms separating out from one another. We're into warrior two. Now, we're doing everything quite slow time today. Check your alignment of the knee again. Make sure it's traveling towards that second toe. In breath, arms float across the body, front of the body. Out breath, they open back out again. In breath, keep the gaze forward though as you do this. Out breath, arms back out. One more. Arriving back in warrior two here, the front palm will turn up. We'll lift up into reverse warrior. And from here, reaching forward with that right arm, root down into your back leg and find your way into Trikonasana. Hand can come to a block on the leg, down to the floor, and a few breaths here. Take your left arm down and then frame the front foot with your hands. Rotate your pelvis now so it's facing towards the short edge of the mat. Might be a bit of bend through that front knee. In breath, lengthen out through your spine and walk the hands back in a little bit. So they're going to be coming towards your back foot. A bit more space for the spine and shoulders. Breathe in, out breath, fold in. Hands framing your front foot, and then find your way back and into down dog here. Do take time with your transitions. Let your breath guide you. So at all times you're feeding the body with the breath, rather than bringing any latent tension into the body. So let your breath wash through you like water. Also here, we come into a little vinyasa, so you can take your pick here, either into plank and lowering down, else down dog, from down dog, all fours, and bend to the mat, cobra. Breathing in, look up and cobra. And out breath, easing up and back again into down dog. So on to the other side. Again, we'll do that in slow motion, slow time. From down dog, left leg will lift up. Bit of bend through the knee first, stretching up into that left leg, rooting up. Then let it come through between your hands. Take time again, flip your back foot down. Now back foot's going to anchor you to come up to standing. So really take your time to lift up with your core. Check the alignment of your front knee, second toe direction. Arms will float up. Follow your breath up with the arms. Then anchoring your feet a few rounds of breath here. Gaze can be up to ceiling. And as well as your breath opening up into the chest, the back of the chest, back of the spine, take it down the backs of the legs. The support system through the body. It's through that support that we can then move forwards into life. Be open to new experiences. Be receptive. Left hand down, right hand down. You're into warrior two. Check that alignment. Feel your alignment with your left knee. Arms crossing the front of the body. Gaze still out to the side. Arms lift. A couple more times. One more. Back into warrior two. Just a breath or so here. Feet take the weight of the body. Take the sensation. Left hand lifts up. Gentle easing up into reverse warrior. Then you're reaching forward that left arm. Left leg will straighten. And the hand will come to the floor, to the leg, to a block. Riding into Trikonasana. Again, awareness, both legs, the backs of the legs as well, the backs of the knees, backs of the thighs and calves. That anchoring then helps the heart to open, the heart to lift and open. Another breath. And right hand will come down. So coming into the forward fold now, may be useful just to walk the hands back in towards that back foot. So fingers are more or less underneath your shoulders. Then you can breathe in, lengthen through spine. And out breath folding down the front leg. From here, fingers walking around now to the long edge of the mat. Rotate that left foot in. You're now in a position for a forward fold. Root down into the outer edges of your feet, knees coming a bit out to lift you up into standing without straining through the legs. Big circle through the arms. Take the arms out behind the spine, interlace the fingers there. Now roll your shoulders out and back. Squeeze into your shoulder blades, hands interlaced behind the spine, breathe in, look up. Feel the backs of the legs as you start to fold, put a bit of bend into the knees here. So no strain through the knees. And we're arriving into a forward fold. Squeeze the armpits together. Root down into the feet. little bend in the knees so you can anchor the outer edges of the feet. You're lifting up into standing. And we'll take the toes out, the heels in. Now it's so easy here for our knees to knock inwards. Just draw them out, encourage them out. You can iron them out with your hands. See if they're a bit more steady there. See if you can tuck under your sit bones a little bit. Draw the belly in. Hands on the thighs. Now, as you breathe in, take the spine over to one side. Look out behind the right shoulder. And then we'll take the spine over towards the left or the opposite way. Look out over that shoulder. Breathe in. The in-breath, swoop the spine over the front of the body. Breathe in, look behind. Breathe out. Swoop the spine over the other side. Breathe in, look behind. And so on a few rounds. Just finish the round you're on. Then, starting to fold, take your feet so they're parallel with one another again. In breath, offer the spine forward, hands to the floor to give you a bit of support. Root into the outer edges of feet, folding, breathing out. You can walk your hands back a little bit here. In breath, arms walking forward. Now walk your hands around to say your right foot, frame your right foot with the hands, and from there stepping back into down dog. Breathe in, bend both knees, breathe out, breath through the mouth. Anchor down into the heels of your hands here. Give that spine a little bit more space to stretch up and into. And both legs working together, even though they're apart from one another, bring them down to all fours. And we're taking a few rounds into cat and cow here. Very slow cat and cow. So you can really tune into the flow of the spine. Bring your attention now to the breath and let go of the flow of the spine. Just let it find a pathway with your breath. Build its own relationship with the breath. No judging, however that is, whatever that is. We're just noticing at any point if that little voice of the inner critic, it creeps in. As if however the body is doing, whatever's going on, isn't quite good enough. Just bringing that light of awareness. As if you were present to a friend who's having a hard time. same touch, compassion to ourselves, our shortcomings at times, and how we set relationship. And letting ourselves be guided by intention. Intention of receptivity, so we allow whatever is flowing through us to be there, but allowing it to flow through us rather than holding on to it, locking it inside the psyche, inside the body. And in that way, a bit like clouds pass over the sun, so too the heart can purify. The energy feeding those thought patterns, those habits, becomes weaker. I'm stretching forward now, so we're coming into melting the heart here. The heart reaching towards the floor, hanging down between shoulders, as if almost like you're in a hammock here. Hands coming inwards, your back to all fours, and walking your knees in now towards your hands. A deep in-breath will lift up through the spine. Chest towards ceiling, gaze towards ceiling, palms connecting. Deep out-breath, either coming back into camels, so hands coming towards the heels. You can tuck under the toes there, make the heels a little bit higher. Else hands coming to the spine, elbows together. And taking a back bend. We're going to do 2 rounds here. So just feel your way into that first round. Make sure you're breathing, not just the front of the body, but the back of the body as well. And slowly start to find your way down to your knees, and from there into child, a few resting breaths. One more round of breath there, and then root down into your feet, root down into the knees, start to lift up, breathing in, big in-breath, and find your way into another round. Decide what version you're going to do here, whether hands on the hips, elbows back, hands might slide down the legs a little bit. Maybe comfortable reaching back to heels, toes tucked under, or else toes flat. And you're slowly finding your way back down, riding in child. And into your heart as you rest in child, into your heart space. Held in the heart's breath, your energy, bringing the image of yourself. All of those bits you love and you cherish about being you, but also those bits you may feel more ambiguous about. And bringing yourself into the heart, then sending an affirmation of metta, loving kindness towards self. And you may like to repeat this, affirm this with a few words. May I be happy, safe and well. May I be content and live in harmony with the world, or something similar that resonates for you. Hands coming down and lifting up to kneeling. And from kneeling, we'll take the legs around and to the front of the body. And arriving in a forward fold, big in-breath, arms floating up. Now root down, let the heart float forward as you arrive in your forward fold. Hands to the legs, the feet, the floor if you prefer. Big in-breath, offer the spine forward. Feel the heart. In between this cavity, just making sure there's space for the heart to breathe there. Making sure there's space for the heart to breathe at the back of the body. We'll take a few breaths, holding here. If there is anyone in your life to whom you have a difficult relationship at the moment, you know, that kind of person who they walk into the room and maybe they just trigger those kind of buttons, emotional buttons of irritation, annoyance, even something stronger, hatred, hurt. But whatever the story you've got about this person, just set that aside. Invite that person into your heart. And as you did to yourself, sending them the same intention of well-being, loving kindness. May they be happy, safe and well, content, live in harmony with the world, or similar. And in-breath, hands sliding up, and you're arriving into sitting here. From here, we're going to come into Shavasana. If you do enjoy having the block underneath you for this Shavasana, you might like to put it there. And so you're coming down, chest still open, block underneath the heart space. Or else you can just come into Shavasana on the floor. The flow of our dialogue with self. Shift and change. Noticing where it may have become static, solidified.
acquired a sense, an illusion of being permanent, something that we then define ourselves and limit ourselves by. Just noticing where the mind gets caught up. Not feeling you've got to paint an alternative picture. Light of awareness. Bringing things in, purifying energy of the heart. It's enough. Trusting, knowing we are free. If you've got a block underneath you, you may just want to pop it out now for the last few moments in your Shavasana. Now we're going to start putting a bit of movement into the body. Unless you'd like to spend longer in Shavasana. From that movement of toes, fingers, head, take your time to bend knees and then roll over to one side of the body. Give yourself a few breaths there. And then finding your way up into sitting, taking a comfortable seat, eyes shut for a few moments. Feeling the breath at heart level. Energy moving in all directions within you, around you. Free, unfettered. And to ourselves, flow of goodwill. May we be happy, safe and well, content and live in harmony with the world. May all beings be happy, safe and well, content live in harmony with the world. And hands to prayer at heart. And from heart to hands, back into heart. Going forwards to greet ourselves and each other. Closing your practice when you're ready. Thank you.